we're going to need about 100 grams of butter, which I have melted and kept ready. Okay, to this I'm going to add about 100 grams of sugar. Now you can add any sugar, or you could just add granulated sugar as well. I'm just going to add plain sugar. Okay. So I have added 100 grams of plain sugar. Okay. Just going to beat this really well so that it forms a nice pale paste. And the sugar has completely dissolved in the butter. Now this may take about 5 to 10 minutes because we have to ensure that there are no crystals of the sugar and it's completely dissolved. Just keep whipping it with a spoon, or you could just use an electric blender. But since I'm making a very small quantity, I'm not going to use an electric blender. I am just going to use my spoon. Okay, I'm now going to add about 100 grams of baking flour. Okay, whisk this as well. So as you see, I am just whisking my flour together with the butter and the sugar so that they all form a nice smooth paste and there are no granules really. That's the objective. Okay. Now as you see, I had used half my quantity, so I'm going to use the remaining 50 grams. That's it. Give this a nice blend. Now at this stage, after you mix the flour, you could actually use one medium range egg as well, so that it's nice and easy to beat. But I'm just going to use a little oil instead of my egg because I'm making this for a couple who's vegetarian. So I'm just going to use some oil. So just take about 1 cap of oil, or you could just take 1 tablespoon. That should be more than enough. Okay. Now I have used sweetened olive oil. You could really use any because this kind of gives a nice nutty flavor, so I like it in my desserts. Okay, just going to keep blending this well. Lovely. Now once this is done, just keep it aside. Okay, and what we're going to do now is we need to melt about 100 grams of dark chocolate. Okay, so I generally buy dark chocolate which is not sweetened so that I can adjust the sweet when we make the brownie, because not everybody likes the brownie really sweet. So you have to understand that you do not have to buy sweetened chocolate, because once you add sweetened chocolate then you can't really figure out the proportion of sugar for your brownies, which is why it's important for you to add just plain dark chocolate which is not sweetened, so that you can adjust the proportion of sweet that you desire in your brownie. Because sometimes you may want to make brownie which is less sweet for diabetic people, or sometimes you may want to make it more sweet for your children. So depending on that, you should have the liberty of adjusting the sugar. So which is why I buy chocolate which is not sweetened, and it's just plain dark chocolate. You can also add flavored chocolate like walnut chocolate or peanut chocolate. That's really your choice, but I'm just going to add plain dark chocolate because I like my brownies just plain. So how do you melt the chocolate is a very important thing, because we do not want granules or pieces. So what you do is you kind of warm nice water and make it really hot, and then take a glass bowl and add your 100 gram of chocolate to it, and just let it sit with the warm water for about 15 to 20 minutes. That's the time it would take to really melt, and then the chocolate will begin to melt. I'm going to show you. So as you see, I have some chocolate in the glass bowl, and outside you see a pan with warm water. The water was really hot, so the chocolate has actually begun melting fast. So I'm just going to let this melt for another 10-15 minutes, and then I'm going to show you. Now to this mixture of our flour and butter and sugar, I'm now going to add my melted chocolate. So that's the way it looks after it got melted. Lovely, isn't it? So I'm just going to toss this into this mixture. So just kind of mix this really well. Remember, the beauty of making a very good brownie, which is really soft, sumptuous, is blending this really well.